Good day again. This is Miss Jero, and now we're going to discuss about the labor and financial market. So, first and foremost, when we talk about labor, it deals with manpower. Okay, it deals with workforce. Okay, it deals with the people who are able to work physically, mentally, and emotionally. Next is we also have the financial market. It deals with the different financial institutions. It's either that is bank, okay, it's either that is pawn shop. So, lahat po na may kinalaman sa finances. Okay po. So, now let's connect the labor and financial markets into the demand and the supply. Alright, so in here, in this table, it represents the demand and supply at the work in the labor markets. So, ang demand, it represents the employer or the company who will hire the employees or the manpower. However, when it comes to supply, these are the willingness of the employee or the possible employees to do a job. Okay, so um, obviously the factors that always need to consider is about the salary. Okay, so number one, yan, meron tayong demand. What if the what if the price or the salary will become high? So si labor market o yung employer natin, somehow no, mawawalan sila ng demand. Bakit? Kasi magpapasahod sila ng malaki eh. Okay, so what will happen with our ship? So automatically, it goes to down. Unti-unti mababa ang demand for employee. Okay? Next is that, so lower salary. So it's contra. So dahil konti lang for, let's say, lower lang or mababa lang yung salary natin. So sa labor market, tumataas yung kanyang demand. So what will happen with our shipping labor? Okay, so it's going up. Alright, so the next is the supply. So kapag po mataas ang salary, so tayong mga tayong mga gusto magtrabaho, ayan, dumadami yung may kagustuhan. Okay, so sabihin, dumadami yung gustong mag-apply. Right, so that's why it's high. So what will happen with our ship? It's going up also. Pero kapag bumababa ang sweldo, nawawalan po tayo ng, or let's say, tayo bilang empleyado, we don't like to be a part of supply. Why? Kasi mababa lang yung sweldo. So, what happened with the ship is going down. Other thing, these are the factors that the demand will shift, no? According to what kind of labor na magkakaroon tayo. So, next is the demand for output. So, po si employer, yan, kailangan niyang mag-produce ng napakadaming product. Tataas po yung demand niya for employees. So, what will happen with our ship? It's going up. Next naman is we have the education and training. So, we have the two things. If the employee are well-trained and educated workforce, automatically, tumataas po ang demand natin sa kanila. And our shift go to right. However, if the employees are not well-trained or educated workforce, so obviously, ang demand natin dyan ay bumababa. So, ang shift natin is going to the left. Next is we have technology. So, dahil nagkakaroon na tayo ng technology, unti-unting bumababa yung demand natin for manpower. So what will happen with our ship is going to the left. Next, how about the numbers of companies? So dumadami ang mga company na kung saan nangangailangan ng trabaho or trabahador. So what will happen? It increase the demand for labor. So the ship is going to the right. However, kapag kakonti lang or habang tumatagal, yung ibang businesses nagsasara so different situation. So, what will happen? So, the companies will decrease, no? The number of companies will decrease. So, that means that somehow they need to lay off employees, bumababa yung demand nila sa empleyado. So, what happened with our shift is going to be left. Now, when it comes to our government regulation, nakadepende po ito. So, the government will comply with the regulation and increase or decrease the demand for labor at a given wages. Like for example, nowadays, diba, because of the pandemic, so si government, nagkaroon siya ng hiring. Nagkaroon siya ng hiring ng mga tawag yan, contact tracer. So, tumaas yung demand for the contact tracer people. However, some of the people, we are afraid to have a COVID. So, ano nangyari with the supply? Medyo hindi mataas, mababa. So, yun yung mga factors na kung saan nagkakaroon tayo ng demand or supply with the labors according to the government regulation. And next naman, same thing with the price and availability of other inputs. So, always remember na hindi lang po empleyado yung pinaka-main ingredients natin to supply or to produce a product. You always need to think about the prices of our raw materials, availability of that. Okay, so in that sense, we can consider how many people that we need to get hired. Okay, so these are the factors again of how the demand will shift to the left or right. Next, how about the supply? Okay, so we have the three factors: number of workers and the required education. So number one is the number of workers. Okay, so dumadami ang. Alright, next is the factors that can shift supply. So we have three factors. Number one is the number of workers. Okay, then the next one is the required education, and the last is government policy. So the first factor is the number of workers. So dito dahil dumadami ang population, dumadami yung number of people, dumadami rin yung tinatawag natin na possible numbers of workers. So what will happen with our shift? It's going to the right. Next, the required education. So habang tumatagal, here in the Philippines, lalong nagiging tight ang competition to get hired. Okay, so may mga companies or may mga employer na kung saan they are very specific with the required education. So kapag hindi natin na-meet yun, so what will happen? Okay, bumababa po yung supply ng ating labor. Alright, so like for example, ngayon, hindi naman masyadong, example, chemist, hindi naman lahat kumukuha ng chemist. So, konti lang yung nagiging supply natin for labor. What else? Usually here in the Philippines, if we finish undergrad ko may mga bachelor degree. If we finish that kind of degree, we stop because we think college is enough. But maybe some of the position, they have or they need to have a required education, like example, go to masters or doctorals or have a specific units in different kind of specialization. So, ano nangyayari dyan? Dahil konti lang naman yung nag-avail ng higher education, so konti lang din yung nagiging supply. So, what will happen with our shift? It's going to be left. Next, the government policies. The government is to work rules that get or set high qualification for a certain job. So, government might offer subsidiary. So, ang nagiging rule or nagiging factors in government policy is that if he give or if the government support set or high standard or high qualification in a certain positions, dun lang tayo nagkakaroon ng problem. Like for example, nag-set siya ng high qualification, so hindi naman lahat kayang pumasa doon sa qualification na yun. So, ang nangyayari sa supply natin, bumababa. The other way around is the government might offer subsidiary. So, kailan po nagkakaroon ng subsidiary? Kapag po ang society or let's say education will not be able to produce manpower. So, ang ginagawa ni government para ma-sustain niya yung numbers of employees in a specific field, no, nagbibigay siya ng mga iba't ibang klaseng assistance. Alright, so next we have the minimum wage as an example of a price floor. So, pag sinabi minimum wage, dapat po si employer, ito yung pinakamababang dapat ipasahod sa tao. So now, saan po nagagaling yung average ng wage na binibigay or let's say the minimum wage? Okay, so it goes with how much the family need to survive in a daily basis. Okay, so magkano ba yung nagagastos niya per day, magkano ba dapat yung kanyang bilhin kapag natanggap niya na yung sweldo niya, and so on and so forth. So, again, the minimum wage is definitely depends on how people or how families survive in a daily basis. Alright, so when it comes to demand and supply in financial market, so again, a financial market, these are like banks or loan companies or lending companies who are borrowing and lending monies. So, sila po yung okay, so in demand, borrowing, sila po yung mga nangungutang. Yung supply, ito naman po yung mga nagpapautang. Okay, so usually ang demand and supply natin, nakadepende po yan sa rates or yung tinutubo o yung tinatawag na markup. Okay, kapag tayo ay nagpapautang or kapag tayo ay nangungutang. So usually ito yung mga loans na tinatawag. Okay, for number 1, kapag po masyadong mataas ang rates, mataas ang tubo, yung demand ng nangungutang nawawala or unti-unti nababawasan. So, what will happen with our shift? It's going to be left. However, kapag naman po ang rates or yung tubo ay mababa, tumataas ang demand na mangutang ang isang individual. Bakit? Kasi pag ilang yung magiging tubo niya. So, what will happen with our shift? It's going to the right. Next one is the supply or in terms of the lending part. So, kapag po mataas ang rates, okay, mas gusto niya pong magpautang. Bakit? Mas malaki kasi yung kikitain niya or mas malaki kasi yung tutubuhin niya. So, what will happen with our shift? It's going to the right. Next. So, kabaliktaran naman, kapag po medyo mababa yung rates nung kanilang pinauutang, so usually, they are also lesser or mababa yung pag-supply or pagpapautang natin sa mga borrowing natin o borrowers natin. So, what will happen with the shift? It's going to be left. Next, ayan. Kung papansin po natin yung demand and supply for borrowing money with credit cards. Ayan. So, yung D natin dito, ayan, it represents that if, ayan, habang tumatagal daw, okay, habang tumatagal, yung demand, okay, bumababa. Okay? Or tumataas according to doon sa interest rates. So, pansinin, kapag po 21%, okay, ang ating interest rate, konti lang po yung gustong mangutang ng malaking halaga. Pero kapag po bumababa yung ating interest rate, okay, dumadami po or lumalaki po yung demand ni borrower or nung nangungutang. Okay? Lumalaki yung demand niya na mangutang na mas malaki. Okay? So, kabaliktaran naman po ito doon sa mga nagpapautang o yung mga lending. So, kung mapapansin natin, ayan, the more na tumataas yung interest rate, the more na gusto nilang magpautang ng malaki. Okay, bakit? Kasi nga po, sila ay tutubo ng mas malaki pa. Next, in this table, it represents that the higher the interest rate have, okay, so mas lalong nawawalan ng demand si borrowing or si borrowers o yung mga nangungutang. Pero, in contrast naman, pagka tumataas yung rate, mas gustong magpautang ng malaki ng mga lending companies. Okay, again, thank you so much for listening. If you have any question, please